SCP-5254 is about Pokemon.
Z is actually about transforming into Pokemon, and it's a rubber video, so don't you think that the canon might be a little in question?
Well, of course, Hook. Sometimes YouTubers put together animations that they'll know will be entertaining and get views, but it doesn't always go exactly toward the canon.
Well, I'm kind of a canon expert, and I'm here to tell you that most of his videos usually go around clickbait instead of the actual canon for the SCP. If you want to know about the SCP, you should read the article.
I can't really react to the article though, and I'm not an SCP reading channel, Hook. So listen, you're just gonna have to enjoy what we got.
Fine, let's just get on with the video.
Listen, guys, make sure to subscribe to the Rubber if you enjoy SCP animations that don't necessarily always fall into the canon. Subscribe to me if you enjoy reaction videos and Hook's loudmouth, and let's get on with the video.
What kid hasn't wanted to own a Pokemon at some point?
Almost every kid.
How amazing would it be to watch a Poke battle between a Charizard and a Blastoise?
IRL? Scary?
But maybe things like that, the unbelievable, should remain just that. Fantasies.
Yeah, and
As
games.
kids, we don't really understand the real-world ramifications of our youthful dreams.
My nephew is
I, for one,
seriously
was
confused.
unfortunate enough to have that dark reality shoved into my face.
Uh-oh.
Allow me to explain.
All right.
My brother and I were 13, and were going crazy over the new Pokemon Diamond and Pearl game. Well, I wasn't as enthusiastic about it as he was.
Oh.
Sure, I played the game often late into the night, but my brother, Jace, went full throttle into the fandom by this point.
Oh my god!
He bought shirts, pajamas,
what?
and little trinkets of his favorite Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Piplup. You know, that little water penguin-looking thing?
Plushies.
Anyway,
a lot of people
it
like
didn't matter
plushies.
where he was. He'd have
Or like
something
hats,
with a
you know?
Piplup on it, and wasn't embarrassed or ashamed at all to let everyone know it.
You
I
see-
admit it was a little cringe to see my
Yeah.
brother like this, but he wasn't hurting anyone. He wasn't. Eventually, my brother started to complain about his arms hurting, that they were getting stiff, that his fingers would get stuck together for some reason. He
You got
often
rheumatoid
complained of
arthritis,
headaches as
baby?
well, that he could feel his skull shift around.
Oh my
I wrongly
god.
assumed his body was stiff and sore from just playing games too long, as well as severe eye strain from looking at his screen
That
from
would give
dawn
you
to
headaches.
dusk.
That's true.
If only that were the case. Instead, I had to watch my brother transform into a grotesque abomination.
Oh my god.
Jace
dude.
stopped attending school, citing he was feeling extremely sick, yet refused to be taken to the hospital. And despite
How
our
you
parents'
mean
efforts, they
refused to
couldn't
be
pull him out
taken?
of his room, literally.
Oh no.
It was like he had gotten stronger,
Oh.
far stronger than a kid of his age should be,
I see.
with how easy he pushed our dad away. Locked in his room, I could hear him complain about his hands and feet, and something that began to protrude from his face.
Oh no.
Eventually, he stopped talking and stopped coming out. I mustered up the courage to finally check on him and found him laying on his bed covered by a blanket.
First of all, as a parent, just stop, okay? If he's getting supernaturally strong, you probably need to call for help at that point. You know what I mean? Like, you know all these horror movies that they have, like, the little girl getting possessed or whatever and becoming seriously evil? First, when they act sick, you call the doctor, and things start to progress. You start getting more help involved. After a little while, you call a priest or a team of priests because you know you need an exorcism. This is the case where if you can't get your kid out of the room because they're growing supernaturally strong and they've been sick, you're naturally worried. You're not just gonna let them be. You gotta call somebody, man. Get some help.
Upon removing
Jesus.
his covers, I gasped in shock and was
He got a beak.
repulsed by the nasty scent
Ugh.
that wafted up to my nose. He was dead.
Oh!
Or rather, what used to be my brother was dead. His favorite Piplup hoodie had merged with his flesh, creating some
Oh.
bulbous, bluish-looking penguin
That
thing
is
with a beak made
nasty.
of bone. His fingers had merged together and slightly resembled flippers. Jace's poor feet were now bent at awkward angles, like they were trying to become talons. Amidst the remains of my brother, there was a slip of paper with a single
My dream
crooked
is
sentence
nothing
written on
but
it.
a nightmare.
My dream is nothing but a nightmare. Hello everybody, I'm the Rubber. Today
That's
we bring you
horrible.
SCP Foundation Keter Class Object SCP-5254.
Turning into a
5254,
Pokemon.
also known as Gotta Catch 'em All, refers to the transformation process of a human or object into one of
Right.
the 980 Pokemon created by Nintendo.
Into anyone?
Through unknown anomalous means, any person or object is transformed through prolonged exposure to any clothing or accessories that resemble a Pokemon. This
Okay.
process is documented as being extremely painful,
It
and most
seems like
humans
it
are
would
unable
be.
to survive the process. Foundation autopsy
Oh,
reports
the
show that
Minecraft
organs
did
and
some.
flesh of the deceased have been converted into plastics or cotton.
God
In other
dang.
words, the material that made up the Pokemon memorabilia replaces the infected person's flesh.
No wonder how
Later
they get
tests have also
stiff and-
shown that an
and
unknown
painful.
DNA has been found within the deceased. This
DNA?
DNA not only replaces the victim's DNA, but it is speculated to be the DNA of the Pokemon as well.
How?
After further research,
How would you
it has
know,
been
though?
discovered that these transformations occur if the victim slightly resembles the Pokemon in question,
Okay.
and if the victim in question is near a large number of individuals wearing said Pokemon garb.
Okay.
Discovered rather recently by the Foundation in 2019 in Yokohama, Japan, at the Pikachu Outbreak Festival. 5254 publicly began with a victim behaving erratically while wearing a Pikachu costume.
All right.
Publicly redacted videos showed a large number of individuals parading down the street in Pikachu costumes. One of them stumbled out of the crowd and charged into a nearby crowd. Nearly a dozen others followed suit shortly after. Foundation MTF Wranglers were mobilized to not only locate these victims, but to terminate them as well for research.
God dang.
Interestingly enough, those harmed in the attack reported electrical burns. Over the course of 2017
He
to
could shock 'em?
2018, a series of emails between one Sir Viper and high-level executives from Nintendo, Pokémon Company, and Niantic caught the Foundation's attention. These emails insinuated the plan to bring Pokémons to life, as well
Oh
as to
my
use them in various
God.
purposes such as military firepower.
Can you imagine they trying to weaponize these things? Now look, I know between the Foundation they do some crazy stuff, but this is wild. Now, I knew a little about this SCP based on a short that I did on my TikTok, but I had no idea like the exactly how it happened and the backstory on it. So this is
Quite
interesting.
literally using Charizard and potential clean energy using Pikachu.
Oh my
And most
God.
disturbingly,
Harvesting
kidnapping of
energy?
children from orphanages under an outreach program for the purposes of running tests. After this, all communications with Sir Viper ceased, and the O5 Council
What?
ordered a raid on the Pokemon Company offices.
Oh
on
wait, it
June
was the
16,
offices and
2019.
not the SCP
This was done in
Foundation.
fear of a
That's
potential
still horrible.
A-class scenario. The members from MTF Epsilon 11 were chosen for the raid. The men were gathered by the team leader in the room for a briefing. All right, boys, the darndest thing just happened. Remember them Pokemons you played with when you were little?
Them
They just got real.
Pokemons.
People are turning into them. We're gonna find out why. Now, we've notified the Japanese government about this op. The target is the Pokemon Company offices in Tokyo. No disrespect, Cap, but I simply can't take this seriously. A Pokemon raid? Really? What's the plan?
Wait. You've been working at the Foundation for how long and you can't take this seriously? Have you not seen what comes out of the Foundation? Yo, this is anomalous. Anything can happen.
Human lives are involved in this case. Keep that in mind, and maybe you'll realize the gravity of the situation.
Exactly.
We'll be split into
Not that
squads.
you're worried about
Your
these
team will be on
declassed
crowd control
lives.
duty while we do our thing. We move quickly, and we're gonna hit that place hard and fast. Understood? Yes, sir. All right, grab your gear. We move out in 5. The team arrived at the location via chopper. The men touched down on the roof of the Pokemon Company offices. Multiple MTF squads disembarked, quickly covering the area. Fox 3, status report. Fox 3 and a different squad had blended into the crowd in the lower levels where a Pokemon exhibition was
Blended
going
in
on.
in that kind of
Civilian
gear.
evacuation in the lower levels in progress. There's a huge Pokemon Center on the first floor that's still filled with tourists.
Uh-oh.
Quarantine for infection. Then rendezvous at coordinates. Roger. All right, you heard the man. Get those Poke fanatics out of there. All right, team. On me. The MTF agents stacked up against the fire exit on the roof, and the door opened easily. They descended down
Can
the
you imagine
fire exit
having to fight a
steps and
Pikachu,
reached
y'all?
a set of double steel doors on the lower level. Silently, Fox 1 gestured Fox 2 to prep some smoke grenades in a flashbang as he breached the doors.
Oh, that'll
All
stop
the
him.
canisters are tossed in, and just as they were about to storm at
I've
him,
heard
there was a
people-
huge mechanic clink from the other end of the hall.
I've heard people talk about getting tear gassed before at riots or raids or whatever around like public what you call those things when picketing, you know, when people go on strike or whatever. Like there's some people that have had horror stories about getting tear gassed They say it's the worst feeling in the world. Like it's like you lose complete control over your body. When military gets involved in stuff like this, it's not pleasant, right? At all.
Followed by the sound of heavy, thudding footsteps.
Charizard!
Shh! Hear that? The men watch the corridor in anticipation. A low growl followed by a roar. A 2 meters tall
You would have been
creature
luckier to get
emerged from the
Charmander
smoke.
instead.
Orange skin, elongated snout, and 2 vast wings
Bruh.
flapped with power to blow away the smoke. It then roared again straight at the men as they froze.
I love it.
Holy crap. Is that freaking
That's
Charizard?
Charizard!
Engage! Engage!
At least he's not a
The
shiny.
dragon-like creature immediately spewed streams of fire,
Oh my God.
setting some of the men aflame.
Yep, that'll do
Get
it.
cover, get cover, but keep the pressure on. What's the plan here, boss?
Shoot it!
Shoot it till it's dead. And eventually, the team filled the creature with bullet holes, and it was brought down.
Oh my
Its fallen
gosh.
carcass lay slumped
At least
over
they
in the
could
middle
be
of the
killed.
hallway, bleeding from its wounds. Christ,
Poor Charizard.
never thought I'd see the day where I gunned down my favorite Pokemon. Clear. Proceed to lower levels. The MTF passed
Wow.
more and more
Oh
hallways.
god.
Pokemon posters lined
Dude,
the
there
walls
was
with
so
slogans like
many
"Prepare
scary
for trouble"
Pokemon
and
if they would
"Make
be
it double,"
IRL,
with the
right?
occasional person in a white coat detained as they emerged from a
Imagine
doorway.
Mewtwo.
Makes you wonder what kind of messed up stuff they've been hiding down here. Quiet, eyes up front. They arrived at another steel door. They stacked up, and this time, Fox 1 gestured for explosives. Breach and clear. Weapons free. Shoot anything that walks funny.
Whoa.
They set the charge and took cover
What if
behind a
somebody
turn in
got
the
a bad
corridor.
leg or something,
The
dude?
doors flew wide open as the explosives
God.
went off. Screams echoed within the
I
room as
guess.
the MTF entered and scanned for targets through the smoke. As the smoke cleared, they could see the room was brightly lit and filled with colorful drawings, toys scattered on the floor, and rows of metal
God,
cages
can
set
you
against the
imagine how
walls, housing
tragic this would be
abominations
for
that
kids and
shocked the
stuff?
team.
Oh!
Good God. The creatures within the cages were at various stages of 5254 transformation.
Oh,
However,
that's a little
most of them
Charizard,
can be seen
hello.
were transformed from children.
Charizard.
These kids. Wait, does this mean the Charizard we killed before was... Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It was a kid.
Fox 2 stumbled back and vomited in disgust as the children afflicted with 5254 cried. Jesus.
Poor things,
Fox
man.
did. Think we found the kids. Requesting immediate
They
medical
were just
pickups.
trying to be
Copy.
Pokemon.
Any sign of Sir Viper? Negative. Only his handiwork. We're seizing electronic serves as evidence. Copy.
God.
Over. Over. Christ. Think I've seen enough for a day. I remember
yes.
when I was a kid. I loved Pokemon. Loved it. Every game, every cartoon, figurines, I
You
collect
lucky-
them all.
You lucky
Hell,
you didn't turn
I even
into
have a
one.
sticker album that I keep in my drawers at home. I've always wished that I live in the Pokemon world, seeing and playing with these fantastic beings. Well, you don't have to wish for it any longer. It has become a
You can
reality.
be one.
Your wish has come true.
Gosh.
Used to think being around them would be so much fun,
Mm-mm.
but now
Mm-mm.
I'm not so sure anymore. In order to mitigate the effects of 5254, embedded Foundation personnel in the Pokémon Company worked to suppress the popularity of Pokémon. This was done by causing outrage of Pokémon Sword and Shield by releasing it with limited Pokémons, as well as preventing large-scale Pokémon-themed events. Despite the Foundation's efforts, Sir Viper has yet to be apprehended.
God, man. You know, I gotta say, guys, there's so many examples of how people really take fandom seriously, and the thought of anything like that coming to life and being a reality is horrifying, right? Like, I enjoy SCP content and horror content and all this stuff, but any of that stuff I would never ever want to experience in reality, not even a little bit. But it's fun to react to videos about them. Guys, I really hope y'all enjoyed this one. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the rubber if you enjoyed that animation, and we'll see you next time. This is Zueljin signing off. Have a good one.